Juggernauts, Saudi Arabia and South Korea lock horns in the last 16 to see which nation will go through to the quarterfinals of this year's Asian Cup. Who's going to go home? Who's going to go through? We're going to take a little look next. Over in the Asian Cup, it's South Korea and Saudi Arabia locking horns over in the last 16. Who's going to go home? Of course, we'll take a look at it all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, you know who you are. And again, if you know where you've been, smash your subscribe button. Your one-stop shop for the Asian Cup continues as we get closer to those illustrious quarterfinal stages. But which one of these two nations will be there? Well, let's go into the deep end and have a little look at how we got to this stage with these two juggernauts. Of course, maybe around too early, perhaps. You would have fancied both Saudi Arabia or South Korea to at least make the quarterfinals. And we'll recap that, of course, my early predictions for these two nations in a second, of course. Taking place at the Education City Stadium on the, of course, Tuesday, the 30th of Jan. So let's remind ourselves about Saudi Arabia. Of course, second round Group D winners, of course, secured their spot on on June 20, 2021. 11th finals for them. Of course, 2019 was the last. Previous best, though, was winners back in 84, 88, and 1996. Mancini as your manager, of course. A lot of, it seems a lot of Saudi Arabians are not the happiest with this appointment. And, of course, they've been a little bit lucky so far in this tournament, some would say. Firdous Al-Badiakian is your star man, 7-1 to go the distance quarterfinals. Was my pick for this Saudi Arabian nation, of course. And this is their journey so far. 2-1 winners over Oman, of course, picked up a 2-0 win over Kyrgyzstan, and then a 0-0 draw against Thailand, of course. Some dodgy, not dodgy, but not the greatest footballing performances for Saudi Arabia so far in this competition. So they'll need to really dig deep against a real tricky South Korean side who, on the flip face of things, have also been a little bit shit as well. Let's take a look at the squad then. We've got Al-Qawidi there, Kadish, Al-Balari, Al-Tagmaki, Al-Badahamed, Al-Dawasri, Al-Mahawat, Kano, Al-Badiakian there, the starman, Al-Shieri, and Yaha up top. Those, of course, the Saudi Arabians. What about, of course, the South Koreans then? Coming at you, a second-round Group H winners. They also qualified in June 2021. So their 15th finals, 2019 was the last. They haven't won it, though, since 1956 or 1960. Klinsmann, the manager there, of course, a big fan of him. Min Jae Kim, or Kim Min Jae is your star man there. 92 to go the distance. Again, I predicted a quarterfinal exit for this nation, but they're locking horns here in the last 16. Again, let's take a look at their journey so far as they finish as runners-up in a Group E. They, of course, they did beat Bahrain, 3-1 win there. Not the greatest performance, and then, of course, locked that up with a 2-2 draw against Jordan. And then they followed up with a dubious 3-3 draw against Malaysia. Malaysia sided with the chief whipping boys of this group. And, of course, South Korea somehow could only draw, of course. I think a win would have set up a Japanese match in the last 16. So maybe some football shenanigans were at play here to keep South Korea in this competition for another round, of course. But, of course, in the flip side, not taking on Japan, has now set up a match against Saudi Arabia in a spot in the quarterfinals. They did finish behind Bahrain in Group E, about ahead of Jordan, who are already through, as of recording, to the quarterfinals as well. Let's take a look at the squad there. We've got Kim between the sticks. That's Kim Sung-gyu there. We've got Lee King Jae. We've got Kim and Jae there. Of course, Jung. Who's that fella there? I'm all over the place. Where are you? Jung Sun-young. We got Kim Tae-hwan there. We got Park Yo-woo. We've got Hwang In-bom, Hang Hing-chan, Lee Kang-gin, Sung Yeon-ming, and Cho Ji-sung, to name but a few. Those are, of course, the South Koreans. Let's take a look at the numbers then. These two sides have played each other 9 times, 2005, 2 in Saudi Arabia, 3 for South Korea, 4 draws, of course. The biggest win for Saudi Arabia was a 2-0 win, scoring 4 goals in total. Of course, in those 9 games, 0.44 goals a game. South Korea, though, 2-0 win, their biggest, scoring 6 goals in those 9 games, 0.67 goals a game. Now, South Korea on 83% form for them right now, unbeaten in the last 11 games, of course, up against the Saudi Arabian side. Also, 83% form for them at the moment. Haven't lost in the last 8 games. Something's got to give, of course, taking place at the Education City Stadium on the 30th of Jan. Now, these two sides last played each other back in September 2023. It was a 1-0 win for South Korea, unbeaten against Saudi Arabia over the last 6 games, and they haven't even conceded a goal against them, of course. The odds, though, for this one, the bookies 16-5 is your Saudi Arabia, 5-4 on is, of course, your South Korea, 11-4 is your draw. I can tell you now, we haven't seen the best of either of these two nations. Maybe in the last 16 we'll see that come into fruition. The public vote has 69% going in favour of South Korea Saudi Arabia at 31%, of course, and the vote is still a little fresh in the public eye there. Of course, what about me? Of course, the public have gone with South Korea. The bookies are the same. I think this is going to be a tight old game, just one goal in it, and again, another clean sheet to boot against them. So I'm going with South Korea here, but again, the winner of this could realistically challenge for at least a semi-final berth. We'll see how, of course, they pan out. But that's it, guys. Of course, 1-0 winners for South Korea. Let me know your thoughts and opinions as we look forward to this one. But of course, the Asian Cup continues right here at Blackburn Overseas. But until then, we're done.